again. Hey everybody. No, Button didn't grow. This is my other Cavachon, Peanut. Button's decided that she wants to take a little bit longer break. So in the interest of trying to get this video done, I thought I would use Peanut here. She's 8 years old and she is much more willing to let me do some things, especially around the face and her feet. Button, come. Didn't come, but she did stop barking. I usually make her go in the house when she barks, so that was kind of habit, I think. But anyway, so my beautiful little Peanut is much better about having her face groomed, her feet groomed, just those things that are real sensitive areas. I have done a lot already. I clipped her the other day. She may look a little bit longer because she has been done with the number 6 clippers. I was initially going to do them both with number 6 because it was cold and rainy and icky, but the weather has gotten beautiful and the blooms are coming on the plants, and I thought, you know, spring's going to be here quick and they grow so fast. So I thought I would do Button with number 4. But Peanut is done here with number 6. She's still a little fluff muffin. Number 6 is about the length, if you took your fingers and just ran it through their hair, if you were to trim right along the top of your fingers there, that's about a number 6 clipper. Number 4 is a little shorter than that. You wouldn't be able to probably see the hair sticking out. So she'll probably need to be clipped sooner, but I never can seem to get them both done on the same day or the same week. I've only been able to do that once. It was amazing, and the battery in my clippers actually did the whole thing without dying. It was very impressive. But for this video, I just wanted to show you on her face a little bit more detail of doing the eyes, trimming the eyes up. She is fantastic with letting me do this for her. And so I'm going to use my professional scissors because they're sharper. The blade itself is sharper, and it'll be a little bit quicker so that she doesn't have to sit so long. She's used to it too. I would really recommend though, if you are not used to doing this, you don't have the experience, you've got a wiggle worm, like I would not use these on Button. I would recommend using these that have the blunt tips. They are never as sharp. They're kind of a pain to use, honestly, because I've had about 5 different pairs. I keep buying them, hoping that they'll be sharper and better quality. They never are, but they're safe. And that's the most important thing. So you may struggle a little bit until your baby gets used to it, where you can maybe use a sharper scissor. I would never recommend anybody using the tip end of this near the eye. Even with experience, I try to lay this low on her eyes like this, so that this part of it is never really near her eye. And I take the fur, I usually use the actual scissors, and I kind of brush like that with it so that I can get a clean cut along her eye. There we go. So much better, huh, honey? And again, I'll go the other direction to get all these crazy little hairs. I usually do this with her facing me, so this is a little awkward, but I want to be sure that you get the idea here and that you can see exactly what's going on. Maybe if I turn her face a little bit more. You are such a good girl. Then a little bit lower down here, you can see that tear stain, the track of it as it runs down. Just kind of work the fur into kind of a clump, and you can cut it right off. And then she's got these beautiful clean eyes again. a little bit more right here. You're such a good girl, P. Can I do it? I'm gonna let her turn her head. I'm still trimming. She wasn't very comfortable, so I'm gonna let her turn her head a little bit. And you just wanna keep working it, trimming it, until you're comfortable with the way it looks, and you've gotten, can you turn your head over here? Good girl. You've gotten, the whole track is gone. So now what you've got, where those tears work themselves and wick down the face. Button. Inside. Inside. Where those tears track down the face, they now have very short hair, so it makes it so much easier to clean. Just wipe with a damp cloth, paper towel, anything with just a little water on it to make it comfortable for them. And it ends up making their face look so clean, and you don't end up getting those nasty black and red tear stains as bad. A lot of people I've seen on Cavachon forum, which is a private Facebook group, wonderful group of people that all love their dogs dearly. A lot of questions, which is why I'm doing this video about how to keep the tear stains gone. What product can I use? Is there something different I can feed? All of these questions. There may be answers to those particular questions about, you know, medications or feed or stuff like that. But in my experience, you all right? In my experience, I have found that the only way to keep them back is to keep it groomed. To keep their good hygiene. Basically, the only way you can really do that is to keep this trimmed so that they don't get the hair in their eyes. It's not irritating. Sometimes those tear stains may come from environmental factors. They could have environmental allergies, or they could have food allergies. But regardless of the cause, you still have to keep this trimmed up. What I'm doing now, I'm sorry, can't see. What I'm doing now is trying to find, because I've trimmed along here, you can see this is all short. So I'm also trying to make this short across the bridge so that it has a nice even look to it. I know that professional groomers do a beautiful job doing this with their clippers, but I'm not that brave. I just don't want to put the clippers that close to their eyes. I'm afraid that I would completely shave off, you know, shave too short around their eyes, and I don't want the clippings that come off of the clippers to get in their eyes. With the scissors, I can control it a lot more. You're so pretty. She has the prettiest eyes, I think. Look at this face. I love you. Another thing, can I use you for one more second, P? Good girl. You're such a good girl. Another thing that kind of drives me crazy is even when I take them to the groomer, they don't trim the hair that goes into their mouth. And it kind of drives me nuts. I notice the dogs kind of bleh, bleh sometimes. So what I do, you can see where their lip is here. I put my finger completely covering their lip. And then I just let the hair fall over my finger. And then I can feel where that is. Also too, if it worries you, you can use two fingers. It's safer. And I will do that for the sake of this video and the sake of safety. But you don't want to get it so short that you're gonna obviously get the lip. But if you look now, you can pull it up. It's much cleaner. I'm gonna actually do it just a little shorter here. I'd rather do just a little bit at a time and be safe than be sorry. And now you can see she's got a nice clean cut on this side. The difference being, you're such a good girl, Pete, where you can see all this hair here, it's not going to be getting in her mouth while she eats. Whereas on this side, you can see the fluff starts curling under the lips and it starts getting in their mouth and irritating while they're eating and stuff. Just much cleaner. It's good for their oral health. That way they're not, you know, getting things caught in it and it rotting in their mouth or whatever. So again, I've got the end of her lip here. You're such a good girl. Just resting on my finger, and I'm letting this go over. I'll use the brush even. Sorry, Pata. Her name is Peanut, but I call her Pata because she looks like a potamus, a little hippopotamus. So she's Peapotamus. Very nice, P. I don't know about you guys, but my dogs have about 1 million different names. For the most part, this one though, she's more of a potamus than she is a peanut. Except to strangers or family, they always call her Peanut or P. You're such a good girl. Let's turn back to the camera. A little bit right in the front here, sweetheart. And she doesn't like the brush on her lips, it tickles, but she puts up with me. Now, this here is so thin, the little hairs in the front, that I can see her lip through it. So now, I'm hoping, because I can't really see her face, she has a nice clean mouth. Nice and clean. She's not gonna have remnants of food stuck to that under her lips and in her teeth. How you doing, Pata? Are you all done? Can I do you for 1 second? I want to show paws. Can I show paws? I'm a little crooked here. I need to fix this a little bit straighter. Again, trial and error, friends. You just got to keep practicing. Let's see. Turn your face like this again. Sit. Good girl. You're such a good girl. As I showed you before, that little trick about working the hair this direction, use your fingers. Your fingers are excellent guides, and your fingers are not going to cut them. You can just grab it with your fingers there and do this little trim to give that shape, that cute little shape that we like of our pups. You've got that cute little teddy face. Brush it forward. Brushing it forward also does a really good job of cleaning it. So in between trimmings, you guys, when you do your brushing, give their little muzzle a little brush in the forward direction, being careful of their eyes and not too hard along their nose, because everything around their nose is very sensitive. That nose is like their eyes. It guides them everywhere. Is that better? You doing good? Yeah? So I wanted to do her feet real quick, if she'll let me. Can you sit? Peanut, can you sit? Good girl. I'll let her up in just a minute. Got the clippers here. She's not wild about this, but to try and keep their little legs clean and from bringing in all the everything from the backyard, I just go in a downward motion first, like their back, to get the majority of the fluff off. You okay? This is killing my back. And then, if she'll let me, how about if we leave your paw down and I just show the folks how to trim around the bottom? This is one of the very few times that I take the clippers off. I mean the comb, the guide comb off. Brush this out of the way. Also, your brush will work fantastically for keeping the area clean. Just kind of give it a little pat. It's almost like a lint thing, and it picks it up. Can you stand right there? Yes? I'm gonna lean down because my back hurts. I have a really bad back, everybody. Most of the time, I do this sitting in my chair with them in my lap. And I will show you that another time. It was such a beautiful day, I wanted to come out here and try it. And I actually had a nerve block injection today, so I'm not in nearly the pain that I usually am. So it's a good day to go for it. Aside from that, what I like to do is I just have them stand, put the weight, and you can lean them in the direction of that leg so they're putting their weight on it. And with the weight on that leg, they don't move it nearly as much. And I just literally go along, Stacey, I literally go along just the edge of it. And because I'm on this towel, it's a little difficult to get a clean cut, but hoping you can see this a little better. Maybe I can turn you this way, P. This way? You sit down? Good girl. Let's put your paw out this way. Okay. You're such a good girl. You're such a good girl. Come here. 1 second. Okay, sit. Good girl. Stay. Stay, stay. See if, I know this is so hard to see because I'm hoping you all can see this. I just literally make sure the hairs are fluffed at the bottom. You sit. Sit. You sit. Good girl. You can see this one, how fluffy. I need to do the pads too. That was something else I want to show you. But you can see all this fluff. And this one here, yes, she still has the stuff on the bottom, but this is nice and clean just around the edges. Just literally around the edge, right up to her toenail. I actually use her toenails as the guide. So when she's standing on it and putting that weight on it, I just put my clippers right up to the toenail and use the toenail as a guide and go straight down, and it clips it off. As long as she's on a hard flat surface, it'll clip it straight off, and you can go all the way around. Get a nice clean cut, and the paws look really cute. I don't know if she'll let me do her, she's so sleepy. Come here, baby. Can we lay down? She's so mellow. Oh, you're such a good girl. Belly? Look at your belly. You're kind of freaked out. Oh, the belly. The belly. Can I do this paw? Here we go. Good girl. Good girl. So, the paws are always an issue, but they really need to be kept clean, and the fur needs to be trimmed from them, because that's how dogs cool off. They cool off by panting and by sweating out of their feet, out of between their paw pads. So you really want to make sure this is cleaned up. Obviously, I'm flagging here. I feel for, I don't remember what it's called, but it's like that weird little thumb that's way in the back here. I feel for that when I do this, and I'll show you why. Make sure to get this all nice and brushed toward the toes. So all the hair toward the toes. Then I feel for this little nodule, this little thumb, what you might call it. Put my finger right above it, my thumb, and you can see how this little hair now is sticking out. That's good, that's what I want. I'm gonna use my thumb as a stopper so that when I apply the pressure of the clippers, it will stop into my thumb and cut off the hair. See if I can show you this. So I put it flat on the pad, and then I work my way to my thumb. And now I've got a nice clean area back there that when she stands, won't be touching the ground. Because if all that fluff were touching the ground, it'd kind of be a moot point. Now, the bottom of the paw, I go in the direction, all the direction I do, for the most part, toward that little nodule. I wish I knew what that was called. I did it one time, but it's not coming to me, sorry. Now I get it mostly clean, that direction. Give it a little bit of the other direction. Typically, I would clean around the paw like I did her other paw first, so I could see what I'm working with. But you can see how nice and clean. Maybe I can use my thumb. See if I can use my thumb to trim in lieu of the table. I'll use her toenails and just cut along use my thumb as the guide. Here we go. May not be quite as cute, but it's getting the job done. I wish you could see this better. Sorry I don't have a camera person to help zoom in and things. You know, you are such a good girl. Again, I'm just going right along the edge of her paw. And as long as I have something to stop, it'll trim right off. Hold still. Trying to get under her toenails now, and that's a little tougher. Okay, let me turn you this way. Oh, you're so, no, stay. Oh, you're such a good girl. You can just lay there, how about that? Oh, I wish you could see this a little better. So, right at the toenails, there. I kind of try and get underneath the toenails so that, because there's always extra fluff there. And if you can see that, there's the difference. There's the little fluff-a-muffin, and then this one is nicely trimmed. And oops, I missed just a smidge right here. And just keep working until you get it all to your liking. But now you can see when she puts her paw down, all of this hair, like this one here, all of this hair that's touching the ground and drags everything in from the back will no longer be touching the ground because of the direction, because we used that little thumb there as a guide and cut right along my finger there. And then you want to check, once you've kind of gotten it cleaned up, and this is kind of a preliminary cleaning, really feel between all her little toes, or your baby's little toes. Both the top and inside, to make sure there's no foxtails. Those things are awful for getting between the toes on the top, and they'll get embedded between the toes and go in toward the bone. They're very bad. We have them a lot in California. But also, you know, if you have pine trees in your yard that drops pine tar, you know, drips on the sap, that stuff, if it gets between their little toes in here, can mat up right at their skin and really be painful. It dries and it's almost like a permanent rock in there. So just be very careful that you're always checking their paws every time you bathe them. You want to clean between them and check their paws. This also gives me an opportunity to see if I got all the hair. And I don't know if you can see or not, but I missed a little bit here. It was kind of embedded. So I'm just going to go back, give it another clean up. And we'll call this a day for that foot, a paw. And that, for a home grooming, is pretty good, I think. Huh. You sweet girl. I'm gonna give her a little break and see if we can get Button back up here to finish her grooming. Come on, girl. She's a little older, so we're not gonna jump. I'm just gonna set her down.